2 minutes till broadcast. One minute till broadcast. Thirty seconds till broadcast. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Begin transmission.
Broadcasting from the heart of the nation, the next generation in conservative talk radio. This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Oh, yes, it is. What is up, my friends? Welcome into it. It is your Monday here for the program. We are setting that tone. We are moving right on through. Holy cow, what a weekend it has been. Busy. And doesn't seem like it's going to slow down anytime soon. And we will have it all for you here on the program as we wrap up what the heck has happened to kick off your week. Nonetheless, welcome into it as usual, broadcasting out of the heart of the nation in Wichita, Kansas on our flagship radio station. But we are all over the country with so many great radio affiliates doing our thing.
Do it live!
Like we do every single day here on the program. I love the outrage, the faux outrage we get from the other side of the aisle, and just the virtue signaling of how angry they are when they pretend to be ultra-religious and how angry they are about the attacks that Donald Trump had on the Pope, and with the post on social media with him apparently looking like Jesus, that he said it wasn't really Jesus, it was him pretending to be a doctor or something. I don't know, it's very funny. I had no problem with it whatsoever, but apparently people are very irate with, how dare you try to portray yourself as some kind of healer? How could you?
We're all gonna die because of you!
How could you do that? Absolutely terrible. So we'll get into that in just a little bit. Bottom of the hour, by the way, we have Nazareth, a stand-up comedian, a Christian stand-up comedian, an author, podcaster, and so much more. We're going to talk about society getting back to faith, and did Trump's tweet really do something against that with culture? Because we portray ourselves as some type of healer or savior in some fashion, which is what people are saying that picture portrayed as with President Donald Trump. So we'll have fun chatting about that with Nazareth coming up at the bottom of the hour. That being said, want to welcome a brand new radio affiliate to the family. That's our official welcoming here on the program. News Talk 1540 KXEL in Iowa, KXEL.com. The blowtorch, the massive blowtorch AM frequency coming out of Waterloo and out of Cedar Rapids. Welcome aboard, my friends. I know you guys are an affiliate of the Todd Starnes radio program, so you may semi-recognize my voice as we fill in for the Todd Starnes radio program semi-regularly. And Jeff Stein, I know the great PD and host there as well, does the same. But really appreciate you jumping on board. Welcome to the Hooserholic family. We love you, and now we are officially in the state of Iowa, which is really exciting. So thank you for that. Round of applause. And I cannot wait So round off your programming for the day. I guess we are at 11 p.m. In the evening to help recap your day, and filling into the slot as the end of the Bill O'Reilly program ends. So we are a great honor to be able to fill into that slot, and looking forward to having you as part of the family. You'll notice very quickly that this is a little bit different program than what you'll hear normally, as we try to be a bit sarcastic on this show, a little bit edgy, and we like to have some fun. So that being said, welcome aboard KXEL News Talk 1540 AM, Cedar Rapids, Waterloo, the blowtorch in Iowa, and we are so excited to be with you. All right, if you want more on the program, here's how you can find us, HooserReason.com, HOOSER Reason.com. Sign up for our newsletter that comes out the first Monday of every month. Become part of the Hoosier-holic family, which is a radio affiliate now with KXEL and so many others. You already are, and we thank you for that. The podcast is on any of your favorite podcasting sites by just typing in The Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser on any of those favorite podcasting sites. Hopefully you had a great weekend. I will admit I lost some money for the very first time in gambling.
Say what?
Now, I will say, my gambling, I downloaded an app. I'm not going to say which app it was, but I downloaded an app, and I put $25 on there. I've never been a gambler. I don't throw money around. I don't have a lot of money to throw around. But, you know, I figured why the heck not? For those that know, I am a fan of the UFC in fighting, and Paramount Plus, hat tip to those guys, allowing us to watch all the weekend UFC fights. That's really cool. And I threw some money on the fight because I thought it was a sure deal. And I got to admit, I don't know if it was a sign that maybe I shouldn't do it anymore, but Yuri Prohaska, the title fight or the headliner fight on Saturday night, I don't know how he lost it. How do you do that? So, Yuri, for those that didn't watch, by the way, President Trump was there at the fight as well. I saw Dan Bongino, the podcaster, there. Donald Trump Jr. was there. It was a really great fight. Everybody lost their minds when Donald Trump walked into the arena like he usually does, and he had a great time. Yuri Prohaska is, I like him. I've never followed him a huge lot, but I've enjoyed him. He was going up against a guy by the name of Carlos Ulberg, and don't know the guy. But I was like, I like Yuri. He's a great fighter. Should be done. Should be pretty easy. They go into the first round, and it's done in the first round. Carlos Ulberg steps back and blows out his knee on his own. Blows out his knee. Tears an ACL, we think. He's limping around the octagon. And I'm like, well, it's a sure done deal now. All we got to do is ride this out, have him do a few more leg checks, kick him a little bit, wear him down. By the end of the first round, they'll probably throw in the towel and be done with this fight. And Yuri's done. Boom. I threw $15 on the fight. I was going to make 30. Not a big deal. No. Yuri goes in for a hit. Carlos bounces back, hits him one. Boom. Knocks out Yuri Prohaska with a torn ACL and a blown out knee. Like 3 minutes into the fight. Come on, man. That was maybe that's a sign that I shouldn't be doing that. I enjoyed it. It was a great fight, nonetheless. It was entertaining, but I was really upset because for the first time ever, my first ever sports gambling bet, I threw $15 on it and I lost. And maybe that's the telltale sign that I shouldn't do any more of that. So, the luck was not on my side for the weekend, and apparently luck was not on the side of President Donald Trump this past week, or the last couple of days, as people angry at his posts.
What's trending today?
That's where I want to start here. There's a lot to cover because Congress back in action as well today, too, so I want to get to that in just a moment. But show of hands, how many people saw the picture of President Trump, of him putting it on social media? He's taken it down by now because apparently he finally caved into the pressure from even the conservative Christian right that was angry that the picture depicted him as Jesus, who is healing an individual. Now, according to President Trump, who was kind of interesting today, he had a DoorDash individual come and drop off McDonald's at the White House, which obviously the security at the White House is not going to let a random DoorDash person just walk up and just knock on the door of the White House and be like, here you go, Mr. President. So I don't know what the purpose of that was. It was super entertaining. But during that Q&A, while they're standing outside the door of the White House and the DoorDash person's right there and President Trump's there chatting with the bag of McDonald's, they're like, hey, what about that picture? What was all that about?
Mr. President, did you post that picture of yourself depicted as Jesus Christ?
Well, it wasn't depicted. It was me. I did post it, and I thought it was me as a doctor, and it had to do with Red Cross as a Red Cross worker there, which we support. And only the fake news could come up with that one. So I just heard about it, and I said, how did they come up with that? It's supposed to be me as a doctor making people better, and I do make people better. I make people a lot better. As an example, the 11,000, I understand your husband's going through treatment.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
He's
He
going
has
through
cancer.
some very serious cancer treatment, so
Yes, sir.
this goes a long way.
Yes, sir. It sure does.
All right, so there it is, the official statement from President Trump. He was not trying to portray himself as Jesus. He did post the picture on his own. It was not one of the staffers that just did it for him. He did it on his own. He didn't see it as being Jesus. He thought he was a doctor. Now, for those that have seen the picture, he is in a white robe, almost Jesus-like, and he has a red scarf kind of around it, almost like I don't know, somebody in the Catholic Church or a bishop or something. So it does look a little bit like that, but he says, no. I was a doctor in this one. And a few other people that were looking up at him, kind of some light portraying behind him. He had the sun behind him that looked like some angels above. I don't know. And look, here's the thing. Even if it was portraying as some type of religious icon or a Jesus or a savior of some degree, I have no problem with that. Where did we get this false rage about quote unquote blasphemy and him trying to be some kind of great savior? I don't care. I really don't. And in fact, we've had this shtick before. If you remember, rest his soul, one of the greatest radio hosts of all time, Rush Limbaugh, that passed away just a few years ago. If you remember, he used to always be the egomaniac. Right, and we loved it. It was a shtick. Talent on loan from God. Half my brain tied behind my back just to make it fair. That was a shtick, and it was funny, and no one took it serious because when you talk to him in person, when you realize who the guy was, he was the most humble guy out there. But that was the shtick on the air because that was a personality. The president of the United States, this may be a shocker to some, the president is allowed to have a personality. He's allowed to. And it trolls the other side that lose their minds. It trolls the other. He does it intentionally because, trust me, when I posted about it on social media today, all the Democrats lost their mind. He's a false prophet. He thinks that he's some kind of savior, and I can't believe that the cult is following this blindly. It's funny, and that's the entire reason why he posts those types of things. So I don't think he should have come back and tried to walk it back and say I was supposed to be a doctor and wasn't supposed to be like a portraying of Jesus or anything. It's a shtick. And it's funny. And I think we need to lighten up in society just a little bit, especially after the attacks that he did on the Pope, which he's absolutely right. And I find it quite ironic for those religious folk that are out there that are looking the battle between the Pope of the Catholic Church and of President Donald Trump. I find, to me, the irony, and for those that like theology and that like just ironic things in society, this should be hitting home for you big time. Because here you have one world leader that is the Pope, the largest religious organization on the face of the earth, arguably, that's supposed to be, the guy that's giving God's message, that is the conduit between God and humanity, because he is supposed to be of that degree. I don't know. I'm not a Catholic. I'm personally not a big fan of the Catholic Church. Nothing against my Catholic brothers and sisters out there. That's just not me. It's not what I do. I just don't like all the secrets they give, and I will not trust the Vatican or the Catholic Church until they release all of their secret stuff that's in the Vatican Library, where they do not let anybody in there in certain parts. That's just me. That's a whole nother conversation. But here you have the guy that's the leader of one of arguably the largest religious organization on the face of the earth and supposed to be the conduit between God and humanity. Criticizing the guy who, if you're semi-religious at all, many people believe that God is using him for a purpose, which is why he was able to survive an assassination attack where the bullet whizzed by his head in millimeters away from him that could have ended him, and so many other times it could have ended his political career, thrown him in jail wrongfully, and destroyed this guy, but has yet been able to come out on top day in and day out because he still has a purpose, he still serves a role, and God's using him in some fashion. So you have the guy that's probably one of the most abrasive, controversial, hated guys on the face of the earth by humanity, that's being used by God, that's calling out in somewhat in an abrasive manner the guy that's supposed to be the conduit of God himself by being the Pope and being the leader of a religious organization. Does anybody else not see the irony in all this? I kind of find it fascinating. And then, of course, then he posts this picture that's controversial of him that potentially looks like a savior-like figure or Jesus, where now we have people calling him a false prophet and calling blasphemy and so forth. I don't know. I find it all hilarious because apparently we need to get back in society to some degree of comedy, of satire, of just not being so uptight all the time. It's okay. Does anybody see Donald Trump as an actual cult leader and a savior of mankind? No. He has his faults. He has a lot of faults. He's had a long history of some faults. No one sees him as that kind of savior message or any that's God incarnated in some fashion. No, but he has a purpose and he has a role. And right now, what he's fighting for, we stand for because we want to make America great again. We want to get America back on track. And he's been the only guy so far to walk into Washington, D.C., to turn over the tables and just wreck the system and hit the reset button. And we're trying to do that even with the shadow war against him from behind the scenes. And that's why so many people stand with him. Do I disagree with a lot of his policy? Absolutely, I disagree with a lot of his policy. I also agree with a lot of his policy. I also think that he could maybe word things a little bit better. I also think that maybe we need to filter what he's trying to say compared to what he actually says a little bit better. There's a lot of factors to that, but come on, man. To get that angry with such a stupid tweet, it's ridiculous. Let's grow up. Let's understand what he's trying to do, and let's understand the personality and the shtick behind Donald Trump, which has never really changed. All right, we got a lot more to talk about back after this.
This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
When America builds, the world follows. Our energy powered the 20th century. We've set the standard for generations, and we never waited for permission. But now, we're being held back. Outdated rules, endless delays. Without permitting reform, Washington's red tape is slowing us down while other nations race ahead. It doesn't have to be this way. We can clear the way for energy that's affordable, reliable, and built right here. Because what's built here is felt here. Lower costs, more jobs, stronger communities. That's what permitting reform makes possible. Energy didn't just shape our country, it powered the American dream. And with our innovation, we can lead the 21st century. Congress has a choice. Build America's energy future or risk falling behind. Tell Congress, pass permitting reform now.
Hey, did you know that you can have multiple different networks on one single smartphone? Well, with Patriot Mobile, you can. It's time for you to sign up for the Patriot Mobile primary phone plan with plans as low as $15 a month, where you can have 2 numbers and 2 networks on one single phone. And right now, if you sign up using the promo code REASON, you can get an entire month absolutely free. It's the Patriot Mobile One plan. 1 phone, 2 numbers, and 2 networks. And it's all at patriotmobile.com/reason. Again, patriotmobile.com, and use the promo code REASON. As you know, I'm always looking for a good snack, but it's hard to find good quality snacks without all the unhealthy additives. But now that problem is over. It's time to enjoy J&S Smoked Snacks. Real cuts of beef, real wood smoke, and real flavor that's crafted in small batches to keep every bag fresh. I promise you'll be addicted. And with numerous different flavors, you'll never get enough. This is not your average gas station jerky. It's J&S Smoked Snacks. Find them online at jssmokedsnacks.com and tell them I sent you.
What fuels the freedom to dream bigger? How did 2 guys in a cramped California garage reimagine the phone and put the power of the universe at our fingertips? At Americans for Prosperity, we believe greatness can happen anywhere. We just need freedom and the opportunity to make it real. But today, with a rigid system stifling progress, limiting creativity, and holding us back. That's why at AFP, we offer solutions that tackle the most critical challenges facing our country, so there's nothing standing in the way of America's next breakthrough. Because what we build today doesn't just shape the future, it defines it. How will you be defined? Take your first step today with Americans for Prosperity.
When you choose Patriot Mobile, you're not just picking a wireless provider. You're choosing a company that shares your values. It's easy to switch, and you can keep your number, your phone, and most importantly, your values. With Patriot Mobile, you get the power of nationwide coverage on all 3 major networks. That means wherever life takes you, we've got you covered on the same reliable networks you already know and trust. And when you need us, we're here for you right here at home. Our customer service is 100% US-based because we believe that support should come from people who understand you and your values. At Patriot Mobile, you're not just another call, you're a priority. In today's world, where you spend your money matters more than ever, every dollar is a vote for the kind of future you want to build. Join the thousands of Americans making a difference with every call, every text, and every connection. Choose a company that shares your values. Choose Patriot Mobile.
Switch today and get 1 month of service absolutely free by going to patriotmobile.com/reason.
When reason meets radio. This is the voice of reason with Andy Hooser.
Have a nuclear weapon. Iran, you marking it down? Iran will not have a nuclear weapon. And we agreed to a lot of things, but they didn't agree to that. And I think they will agree to it. I'm almost sure of it. In fact, I am sure of it. If they don't agree, there's no deal. There'll never be a deal. Iran will not have a nuclear weapon, and we're going to get the dust back. We'll get it back. Either we'll get it back from them or we'll take it.
All right. So President Trump there saying earlier today, there's no way this comes after. There's so much we want to cover today because we have Congress back in action. We have the governorship in California, the governor of California, that is completely just collapsing for the Democrats. It looks like we could have 2 Republicans going into the runoff race there in California, which is great. And then, of course, we had the 21-hour negotiations with J.D. Vance over in Pakistan that was trying to talk with Iran through the mediators of Pakistan, saying that they want to try and, according to the reports, that they were inches away from what they said. They were inches away from a peace deal, from a ceasefire, from a negotiation, and it just didn't work, and it failed miserably for them, apparently. But we were really close, and it all stemmed to the fact that we say, no, you're not getting nuclear weapons, and Iran wanted to bulk and push back against that.
We've had a number of substantive discussions with the Iranians. That's the good news. The bad news is that we have not reached an agreement, and I think that's bad news for Iran much more than it's bad news for the United States of America. So we go back to the United States having not come to an agreement.
All right, so we'll see where it goes from there. I'm still optimistic we could see this end soon, but I'm hoping that this is the realization that while we want peace, we don't want long-term conflicts, we're not in for it long-term conflicts, but we need to realize that now that we've got ourselves into this mess, that there is no talking to a regime that lies through their teeth or just doesn't even hold up their end of the bargain. Kind of like Vladimir Putin. Hey, you going to stop bombing? Oh, yeah, we're going to stop bombing. And then like an hour later, he's sitting there bombing apartment complexes with drones. What are we doing? We know it's not happening, but at the same time, that's where Iran's at as well. We also got word over the weekend that apparently the nation of China has at least talked about sending weapons to Iran to keep this going, cheap drones and weapons and missile launchers or whatever else they are to keep the conflict happening, while Donald Trump says, yeah, we're not going to depend on them to open up the strait. We're going to blockade it. We're going to open it up our way and actually get things back on track. But there has been some benefit where, according to the Trump administration, we have seen a massive amount of oil ships coming to where? To the United States. And that is a win. And we covered it on the weekend program some to kind of break this down, but we have right now Russia that is not being able to distill and process their oil. That's usually done in Iran. You have China, where there are a drastic drop in oil and energy usage because they're not getting the oil they need when the majority of the oil that China gets is actually from that strait. And now we have people coming to the United States to buy oil. So we've not only decimated the military, which we need to do the full-on regime change in Iran, just go in, end them all, give the power to the people and say, do your thing, man, and we walk away. That can be done in apparently a couple of days with how close that we are right now decimating that government. But we've done that. We've taken the leverage away from Russia while they've been isolated with their conflict in the Ukraine. We have China that's begging for energy and oil now, and then everybody's coming to the United States. It sounds like for the America First agenda, that's been a win, 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 right? I would think so. And then you allow the people of Iran to do their thing and get away from the radical Islamist nation that is not, by the way, as we've said before, historically a Muslim country at all because of the Persian population that's actually been there. So overall, I'm glad we've at least expressed our attempt to negotiate in every way possible. Now the only thing left to do, which is go in and say we're ending the entire regime and giving the people the ability back to go and do their own government that is not a radical Islamist regime that's going to be way more favorable and get along with everybody in the Middle East and have a way better relationship with us here in the United States, period. End of story. Congress, on the other hand, now that they're back in office in D.C. this week, the Democrats say they're trying to pass another piece of legislation to rein in war powers of the executive branch of the Trump administration. We'll see how well that works out. We got lots more to get to right around the corner for your Monday for The Voice of Reason. Stay here.
This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Miss any part of the show? Well, don't worry. Now's your chance to go find the podcast and listen to as much of The Voice of Reason as you'd like. As the show continues to grow all across the nation with great radio affiliates, we also continue to grow as one of the top conservative podcasts, ranked 5th on the MillionPodcast.com Best 50 Conservative Leadership Podcasts in the nation, and number 1 on FeedSpot.com's 30 Best Conservative Talk Shows in the country. The show continues to grow each and every day. Just find us on any of your favorite podcasting sites at The Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Hey, it's Andy Hooser. Want to reach out to the show? A big part of the program is you, and we want to hear from you. Let us know your thoughts of the show, maybe a guest we've had on the program, or my favorite, when you disagree with something that I talk about. You can email me at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com or send us a message through our website at HooserReason.com. The show's not about me, it's about you. So be heard and be your own voice of reason. Again, email me at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com or find our contact information at HooserReason.com.
truth, reason, and common sense. This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
McDonald's? What?
Nice to see you. Nice to meet you. I have your DoorDash order for you, Mr. President.
That's very nice. Look at this. This doesn't look staged. It doesn't.
All right, that audio was a little bit bad. President Trump, so the DoorDash person, because you can apparently just walk up to the White House and knocked on the door of the Oval Office. Donald Trump walks out, DoorDash, and you got the bags of McDonald's. Donald Trump's all excited. The media's right there, and then he says,
This doesn't look staged.
not staged at all. I love it. I mean, the shtick is great. I mean, the persona of Trump is just entertaining to watch for sure, and then did some Q&A with the media right there outside of the Oval Office. Welcome back into the program. Great to have you today for a Monday doing our thing. Have no fear. The voice of reason is here. As we are moving through here, and I don't want to waste any time, we have a great guest on the line, and as we go to our...
Let's go to the Hoosier Media Hotline.
That's right. And as we talk about ways to bring culture back and we try to lighten up a little bit, because apparently everybody's so uptight, it's really hard to just laugh and have comedy and just enjoy a little bit, which is why I'm excited to have this guy on. He is a stand-up comedian, a Christian stand-up comedian. He's an author, he's a podcaster, and so much more. You can find his website online at NazarethUSA.com. But it is the man himself. Nazareth, how are you, my friend?
Hey, how are you? Thank you for having me, man. It's awesome.
Yeah, no, I'm excited. I'm excited to chat with you. I've been looking forward to this one for sure. And what a wild time. I can only imagine what it's like being a comedian in today's age when apparently everybody's offended about everything. Is that difficult for you?
It is getting difficult because, it's just people are very tense, like you said, and people just like get offended, especially the younger age. Like, I have a daughter at home who's a Gen Z, and it's like everything I try to tell her, she's like, that's not funny, that's not funny. I'm like, okay, that means I'm going to go try it on stage then. It's funny.
That's right.
But I try to... I always look at the audience, Andy, right before I go behind the curtain and I look at the audience and see the age group and I see it different and go, okay, I'm here to bring these people together. They've already have enough to divide. So I want them to bring them together. I want them to laugh together. Because once you laugh with someone else, there's this, that connects you a little bit. And that's my goal, is to be able to connect people during my show. So I try, I used to do more little political long time ago, but now, in this atmosphere, I try to just I want them to laugh. I want them to enjoy themselves. I want them to know that Jesus loves them. I mean, that's the goal of my event at the end. Standing ovation, loving the show, and tell them about Jesus.
That's really amazing. Yeah, and we need more of that for sure. Are you seeing, as you do your shows, are you seeing more of maybe the younger generation that's starting to come there? We've seen a lot of studies that show that the younger generation right now, I mean, I'm a millennial, but the millennials, the Gen Zers, the Alphas, Alpha generation, which is my daughter who's about ready to turn 12, that they're going back to church. We're starting to see them go back and look for something because for the longest time, Nazareth, it's been kind of the social experiment. The government has been the replacement of God in some aspect. We look towards the government for the answers, and obviously that didn't work out. And it sounds like we're starting to go back and say, look, we got to find the answer somewhere else, and that's a higher power.
You know what? You're right, and I see that. I see, my daughter, my kid. My son is 27. He's a film director, and also he worked with the #1 singer in the country. I can't mention his name, but top 5 billboards is him. And he was telling me, he said that this generation is coming back to Christ. We're gonna see, more young people coming, but they're different than other generations because they're Christianity. They want to be real. They want to serve. They don't want to be sitting in a church hearing a sermon. They want to go out and serve and reach people and all that. So this is great. I am looking forward to what's going to happen in the next few years. I know people are, I wonder what's going to happen. No, it's going to be good because people are coming back to the faith, coming to their own, their own segment of the faith that they believe this, they're going to be more like Jesus than we were.
Yeah, that's really amazing. Talk about your story, Nazareth. How in the world did you get into the realm of stand-up comedian and especially doing it from the side of faith, which, is obviously kind of a niche way. There's not very many Christian stand-up comedians like that. Where in the world did you come up with that idea?
Well, it wasn't my idea. I was, I was born in the land of milk and honey, but I'm lactose intolerant. When I was 3, my family left the Holy Land, went to Kuwait. I grew up in Kuwait. I went to school in Kuwait as a Christian, and then, I went to school in the University of Toledo, Ohio.
Mm.
And
A fellow
and then
Ohioan. We were talking off the air a little bit. Me going to college in Bowling Green, for those that don't know, that's about a 30-minute drive from each other, Toledo to Bowling Green. So the Falcons and the Toledo Rockets, man, we're representing.
Yes, but we're both Buckeyes, so that's
right.
good.
That's it.
Yes. So I enjoyed there. I enjoyed living in Ohio. And then my mom and dad have to leave the country because in Kuwait, unlike the United States, you can live all your life, be born, raised, have a job, but the minute you lose your work, you have to leave the country because it's not like here. You can come here, have a baby, go back, and then this baby is a citizen. You don't have that over there. They won't give it to you. So what happened is my dad finished his work and they had to leave. So they came to Ohio, and it's like it was too cold, so we moved to California. And I was, I'll tell you the story really quick how I did that. I was working 3 jobs, trying to take care of my family, 7 days a week, no time off, and I didn't want to depend on the government. I came here to assimilate. I came here to become an American. I came here to give, not to receive. So I started, working, and then somehow I decided I want to run a marathon, Andy.
Wow.
I was smoking, drinking, didn't do anything. So I said, I'm going to run a marathon. I don't know why, but I started running, and it's like I didn't practice for it, and then my legs were giving up, like my kids. Are we there yet, Dad? Are we there yet? and my lungs is giving up like a grandpa. Oh, I can't breathe. My heart is like a wife. I didn't sign up for this. Nobody told me. Let me stop and see what happens to all of you people. Yeah. But I finished it, and I don't know how, but I finished it, and I sat there and said, what do I want to do in life that if I never get paid for it, I'll do it to the best of my ability? And it was making people laugh. So the next day I signed up at a comedy club, the LA Cabaret in Encino, California, 7 p.m., full house. I went on stage at midnight, 9 drunks, and I did jokes, like silly jokes. I didn't have an act. I was like, hey, I'm from the Middle East. We have a 2-story tent with a 2-camel garage, and my brother would come and take Ken and Barbie hostages. I sent G.I. Joe to get him back, and people were dying. And I go, hey, I was at work, and the Slurpee machine fell and hit me on the head. I'm glad I had my turban on. And people are dying. I was like, wait, this is stupid jokes, but they're laughing. And that's when I started doing comedy. And somehow I got management right away. I started doing the Aladdin in Vegas. I started doing every comedy club, the improv comedy clubs, TV shows. NBC was doing a sitcom for me called Fish Out of Water, a Middle Eastern Man in America. Everything was great. And then someone invites me to church, a comedian. I go to church, and I found that, you know what, I was always a Christian. I mean, my whole family heritage's background is Christian, Greek Orthodox Christians. But I felt that moment. I said, you know what, this is what I'm looking for. I'm not looking for fame and money. And it was coming fast and happening. I said, what I want to do is I want to use my comedy to help people and reach people and just make people laugh. And I did. So I turned from doing the clubs. And then there's a guy by, what's his name, that used to work with Nixon. He started the Prison Fellowship. What's his name? He was a black goat. Chuck. Anyway, he's the one who started. So he invited me to do prison. So I started going to hundreds of prisons, and there I worked on my act. So I have a strong act, and I started doing churches and all, and youth groups and events, and that's what I turned to. So then I started doing stadiums for free because I started renting stadiums and bring people who are poor, who cannot afford to do to pay for a ticket or a concert, to come for free and enjoy the show. And then, of course, at the end of my show, I always want to encourage people, hey, Jesus loves you, God loves you, there's hope for you. This is the greatest place in the world to live, and that's where I go with that.
It's really
but I live in California. I live in California. $6.75 a gallon.
Yeah.
Not only I shake the nozzle, I lick it now.
Well, yeah, you guys are hurting more than anybody else right now, and
We're hurting.
that's really unfortunate. But you do have some good news. It sounds like after the announcement of Eric Swalwell dropping out of that governor's race, you might actually have some changes out there in California soon.
I hope so.
You got some work to do on that one, for sure.
And I want to encourage the listeners. I know the listeners are scared now with the war is going on with Iran, and people say, what about sleeper cells? What if there's people here that... let me encourage you people. Listen, if these people have been here for more than a year, you have nothing to worry about. Because they're going to call them and say, hey, we're ready for you to do your evil act. And they go, when? Tomorrow? Tomorrow my kid has a recital. And then the Dodgers are playing.
That's right.
Why can't I just go on social media and complain about it?
That's right. Be the keyboard warrior as everybody else. Come on, that's how you change things nowadays. I love that. We're talking with Nazareth, a stand-up comedian. He's an author. He's a podcaster. You can find all his information at NazarethUSA.com. Nazareth, hang on the line. We got to take a hard break here. When we come back, I want to pick your brain on a couple things with the last few minutes that we have. Is number one, your thoughts on the Middle East right now because of all the craziness that's going on and the difficulty that many are having, especially those of faith right now that are trying to go through all this. But also, I got to ask you, you have your book about children, how to reach out to children, and it may help those that are struggling to connect, especially in today's age of AI and the public education system and so much more. So we'll get your thoughts on some of that and more. Plus, you can see all his tour dates and so much more, his books, on his website, NazarethUSA.com. Fascinating conversation with him. We'll do that when we come back around the corner as we set the tone for a Monday right here on The Voice of Reason. Stay here.
This is The Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
When you choose Patriot Mobile, you're not just picking a wireless provider. You're choosing a company that shares your values. It's easy to switch, and you can keep your number, your phone, and most importantly, your values. With Patriot Mobile, you get the power of nationwide coverage on all 3 major networks. That means wherever life takes you, we've got you covered on the same reliable networks you already know and trust. And when you need us, we're here for you right here at home. Our customer service is 100% US-based because we believe that support should come from people who understand you and your values. At Patriot Mobile, you're not just another call, you're a priority. In today's world, where you spend your money matters more than ever, every dollar is a vote for the kind of future you want to build. Join the thousands of Americans making a difference with every call, every text, and every connection. Choose a company that shares your values. Choose Patriot Mobile.
Switch today and get 1 month of service absolutely free by going to patriotmobile.com/reason. Hey, it's Andy Hooser with The Voice of Reason. Fighting for conservative principles seems more difficult all the time. The progressive left finds new and creative ways to limit freedom, abuse power, and trample the Constitution each and every day. That's why we need the knowledge, resources, and common sense to push back. And that's where we can help. Head to our website at HooserReason.com. There you can find our latest blog discussing topical issues of the day. Let us know your thoughts on current events with different surveys and chat rooms. And keep track of what I might be doing or where I may be speaking. Plus, when you head to the website, you can always get great deals and different offers from all of our great radio partners. Finally, if you want more of the show, you can find our podcasts with all of our great episodes and your favorite guests. And make sure to check out the latest Voice of Reason infomercials and maybe some other special content. And it's all because of you being part of the Hoosier-holic family. Let's continue to fight for conservative common sense principles together by going to HooserReason.com. Why? Because it's kind of the reasonable thing to do.
What fuels the freedom to dream bigger? Our country's greatest breakthroughs were born from bold ideas and the ability to take one small step forward. At Americans for Prosperity, freedom and opportunity find their defenders. Because our country's next giant leap is just around the corner. Are you ready to step up?
Hey, the live show may be almost over today, but it doesn't have to be for you. As always, enjoy The Voice of Reason with our daily podcast by finding The Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser on any of your favorite podcasting sites. Just find us, subscribe, have it automatically downloaded, and listen at your convenience whenever you want to bring some more reason into your day. And a lot of people are doing it.
Also, you can always find the video of the show, along with articles, additional commentary, and maybe a few sarcastic remarks by following us on our social media. Stay up to date with everything going on with the show, including upcoming guests, breaking news stories, interesting articles, and maybe some memes. Help us in the ongoing battle with censorship and shadow banning from social media by following us on the social media at Hooser Reason on all of our social media sites. For all these social media links, podcast links, contact information, or just general information of the show, go to our website at HooserReason.com. There you can listen live every day, read our latest monthly blog, find our radio affiliate list, or even listen to our latest infomercials and special content. Plus, you can always reach out to the program by sending me a message on social media, emailing us at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com, or sending an email through our website at HooserReason.com. Whether it's content on the show, whether it's a guest that you've liked or disliked, or whether you want to disagree with me, and disagreement's always appreciated. While you're there, make sure to sign up for our monthly newsletter. Each month, you'll get the latest update on the show, updates from the Hooser Media Network, and our latest blog discussing topical issues of the day. Finally, if you want to help support the show, become a member of our Patreon site and help us fight for the cause of truth, reason, and common sense every day, and get more of the same by becoming the ultimate Hoosier-holic. Get additional interviews that sometimes we don't always get to air on the radio. Hear our special segments or even our infomercials before anyone else, and have a chance to chat with other great Hoosier-holics from all over. By becoming a Patreon subscriber, you're not only helping the fight for conservative values, you're helping us get more content and information out through the Hooser Media Network. Find out more information online at HooserReason.com. Lastly, follow and support all of our partners with the show. The Voice of Reason has been growing more and more every year, and it's because of so many great partners helping us get the message out to you. From show partners to local radio affiliates in your area to streaming sites, podcasting sites, and more, we have so many supporters and listeners now than ever before, and we want to thank you. It's time to bring back common sense, and we do it right here every day with the Voice of Reason.
America's safe space for common sense. This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
And it's truth, reason, common sense, rationale. It's what we do on this program each and every day. Always appreciate you hanging out with us as we are setting that tone. Going to carpe diem all over this place for a Monday, baby. It's what we do. You can find all the information on the website at HooserReason.com, HOOSER Reason.com, and find us. We are hanging out. Great chat right now with Nazareth, stand-up comedian, author, podcaster, and so much more. You can find his information at NazarethUSA.com. Nazareth, I got to ask you, and this is a great conversation, I think, as we're having the cultural shift in the country right now. People looking towards a higher power, finding a way to bring the family unit back together, the nuclear family, which is what we need. Your book, You're So Funny, Daddy, How to Communicate with Your Children Using Humor. I got to admit, I try. I use the dad joke on a regular basis, and the eye rolls I get from my 12-year-old daughter, every time she eye rolls, to me, that is a check mark that I've done my duty for the day. Is that about right, how we should be doing this?
Yes, it doesn't matter if they laugh or not. You know what? When a dad jokes or tells a joke at home, you know what that means? He's in control. He's confident. He can handle it. But when people, like sometimes when parents come home and they're stressed out and they bring their stress home to the kids, don't handle it as much, and they've already had their stress at school, and we have a generation of anxiety and depression. So I would always tell parents, I said, stop right before you open the garage door or walk in the door and said, you know what, my house is not a house of stress.
Yeah.
My kids don't need to see that. I can handle it. I will deal with it later when they go to bed. I can talk to my wife about whatever problem we have. But right now, the kids do. So you said, I always encourage family, have dinner together if you can, as much as you can. And then sit there and a friend of yours at work send you a YouTube video that's funny or something on social media that was funny and clean. Hey, share it with your kids. Sit down. Hey, who have a joke for me? Okay, my dad joke doesn't work. Tomorrow I want one person to bring a good joke to the dinner table. That's little things like that makes the kids relax and know, hey, my mom and dad are in control. They have it together.
I love that. That's a really great message for sure. You're right. I have the luxury. I live about 45 minutes away from the studio, so my decompression time is, the 45-minute drive to decompress from the day. So by the time I get home, I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it. And the daughter and the wife are always running around doing stuff, and they always sometimes say I don't take things seriously enough at times because I'm always just that way. But I think we need to be that way. And if we're laughing and goofy, then we realize that we can handle, like you said, just about anything.
That's what I tell my kids, because my daughter, Lulu, is like, Dad, you're always joking. I go, what's the alternative? What do you want? I mean, I'm not a clown. I'm a comedian. I'm not a clown. I'm a dad in control. I tell jokes. My son has done comedy at the top comedy clubs, even though he's a film director. My daughter, every time she does the Comedy Store in L.A., she sells it out, even though she's a lawyer, wants to be a lawyer. She's not a comedian.
I love
it. But they grew up with that sense of humor that will help them communicate in life and deal with people. So what you're doing as a parent, even though you're just joking and the jokes might not be that funny, but you're telling your kids, hey, there's power in humor. It's a great way to communicate with people.
It's what it's about, my friend. I love it. We got just about a minute left here. I was looking at your website and your tour dates. Talk about where you're going to be, because it looks like you're going all over, not just the country, you're going all over the world. You're going to be in Spain and in Ireland pretty soon. That's pretty exciting.
Yes, and would you know, I do a lot of events in Canada, a lot of tours, but I've been to 50 states, and I'm going to be I'm doing a big radio concert in Nampa, Idaho. This week I'm going to be in Ventura doing a crisis. No, there's a ministry that helps pregnant homeless women. I love doing that, so they're doing a gala for them, and we raise a lot of money for the crisis pregnancy centers. I mean, every show we raise over $100,000 for some different ones. So I'm doing one on the 25th here in Corona. I'm going to be in Idaho. Then I'm going to be doing in Lake Elsinore another one. Wow. And then, we just do travel all over. I do theaters. I do outreaches, large churches, different churches, just where people want something clean and their values are not compromised. That's when they call me, the pastors and leaders and corporate. I do a lot of corporates because they want clean and non-political, I can give them that. So that's what I do. I love living here. I always say I'm from the Middle East, but ever since September 11th, I feel so Mexican. But I have to be careful. If I'm close to Home Depot, I'm Middle Eastern. If I'm close to the airport, I'm Mexican.
I like that. That's the way to live. You got to do that sometimes. Nazareth, it is great to meet you, my friend. I love the conversation. We got to get you back on here again real soon, brother.
Thank you, my friend. Thank you for what you do. God bless you.
God bless you. Appreciate it. Nazareth, again, you can find his website, NazarethUSA.com. See all the tour dates, all the great stuff. Go check out his book and so much more. Cannot wait to get him back on the show. Until then, we're out of time. We'll see you back on the radio tomorrow for a Tuesday. It's The Voice of Reason. I'm Andy Hooser. We'll see you on the radio. Bye.
For too long, Washington has said no to builders, workers, and American families, and yes to bureaucracy, delay, and special interests. Let's flip that. Say yes to building more housing, and no to government mandates that block it. Yes to permitting American energy, and no to endless red tape. Yes to putting patients in charge of healthcare, and no to letting insurance companies call the shots. Higher costs? No. An affordable America? Yes.
Miss any part of the show? Well, don't worry. Now's your chance to go find the podcast and listen to as much of The Voice of Reason as you'd like. As the show continues to grow all across the nation with great radio affiliates, we also continue to grow as one of the top conservative podcasts, ranked 5th on the MillionPodcast.com Best 50 Conservative Leadership Podcasts in the nation, and number 1 on FeedSpot.com.